I know many of you are tired of paying rent and not getting anything back in return. Now, every month you're paying rent and you make someone else wealthier. Now, do you want better options that favor you? And have you constantly considered this thought? Should I or can I even buy a home? What do I need to take into consideration if I decide to buy? Now, that is what this video is about. And now stay with me, and I hope this video will answer those questions. If not, please reach out to me directly and I can answer those questions. While you're at it, hit my subscribe button if you find this video helpful. All my contact information is down below. My name is Zoran Smake. I'm a realtor here in Bastrop in Austin, Texas. For a while, you may have been going back and forth in deciding to buy a home. Is now the right time to stop renting and buy a home? You've decided to move forward to buy a home. Let's stop for a moment and go over a few milestones to help you assess your decision. First, I recommend talking with the lender. What he's going to do is he's going to ask you a bunch of questions, ask you for a bunch of documents, and from there, he's going to run the numbers and he's going to work with you so you know what you can afford. I'm going to go over quickly for a few moments, just a few milestones. Do you have enough money for a down payment and closing cost fees? Have you increased your credit score? The higher score, the better the rate. Do you have a few months of living expenses in savings? Do you have a steady income and a favorable debt to income ratio, which is DTI? And what is a good DTI? As a rule of thumb, you want to aim for a DTI of around 36% or less, but no higher than 43%. Buying your first home can provide various benefits such as building equity and having more control over your home. Now, leasing is an upfront and a short-term affordable alternative that can help you lay the foundation for buying your first home. Now, ultimately, deciding between owning and renting is a decision that should take into account both financial considerations and your personal preferences. Now, as with anything, there are both pros and cons of home ownership. Home ownership is not always for everyone. Some people are content to renting, but we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to start off with the pros. The greatest advantage of a home ownership is you get to build equity in your home. Now, if you're going to pay more into your principal every month, your overall balance is going to decrease. Your home equity will jump up every passing year, and by paying more in your principal, it's going to reduce the total interest payments made over the lifetime of the mortgage. Tax benefits. As a homeowner, you're going to receive tax benefits that renters do not. Homeowners can deduct mortgage interest and property taxes on their tax returns, resulting in significant savings. Now, get with your tax account or prepare to learn more. And here are some other tax benefits. You can lower your taxable income through itemized deductions of mortgage interest. You can also deduct the interest you paid on home equity loans and home equity lines of credit. And if the points are purchased to reduce the mortgage interest rates, you can deduct the cost of the discount points. However, loan origination points will not be tax deductible because these are fees that don't affect the interest rate of your loan. And also, depending upon your location, the property tax deduction can be very valuable. And with the home improvements, the necessary home improvements can qualify as a tax deduction. The definition of necessary is somewhat limited. Now, if you upgrade your fully functioning kitchen, those improvements costs may not qualify. However, if you have to make permanent improvements to make your home more accessible for medical reasons, that should qualify. Now, a few examples are installing medical equipment, railings, or widening doorways for accessible homes. And also, continuing on, if you operate a business out of your home, the IRS is going to require that you use your home office for regular and exclusive business use in order to qualify for a deduction. Now, in terms of the deduction, the size of the deduction is based on the percentage of your home dedicated to the place of business. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, is another expense that as a homeowner you must factor into your budget. And you may deduct your mortgage insurance payments on your itemized tax return. And capital gains tax breaks come into play when you sell your home for a profit. And again, always consult with a tax return specialist, tax accountant for all of these uh, tax breaks that you may be qualified for. Homeowners, you have complete control of your home. You can make any renovations you want without needing any approval from a landlord. Now, being a renter, you're at the mercy of your landlord. They have the landlord rules and you cannot do anything without their approval. Homeownership allows you the freedom and it creates a true sense of ownership. Now, some of the disadvantages of buying a home is the higher upfront costs. Now, one of the biggest downsides of owning a home is the higher upfront cost. And you're going to need to come down with a down payment, which can range anywhere from 3% to 20%, and it can be more depending on what you decide to do of the home purchase price, along with the closing costs and other fees. Have your realtor negotiate some seller concessions or a price reduction. You can be creative. Your credit score plays an impactful role in your ability to buy a home. The higher the score, that can make it easier to obtain a mortgage with a lower interest rate. Now, whereas a lower credit score, can make it more difficult to obtain a mortgage or may result in a higher interest rate. And what you want to do is you want to make sure you monitor your credit score and work to improve it if necessary to get the score up. Before applying for a mortgage, get with your lender, get with your realtor, or get with your financial advisor to work with the credit repair agency to increase your score. Another disadvantage is the maintenance costs. Homeowners are going to be responsible for all the repairs and maintenance on the home, which it can be quite expensive. The purchase of a home warranty plan is always the wisest move. There is less of a choice to move around than renting provides. You can't just pack your bags and move to a different part of town if you want to change your scenery or you get tired of where you live. This could be a great disadvantage for individuals who like to move frequently, or if their job requires you to be away from the house. You're going from project to project, say you work in an oil and gas industry, etc. Let's move on to the advantages of renting. Moving flexibility. That's the biggest advantage of renting, is the flexibility that is offered. Renters, you're not tied down to a specific location and can move to a new home, new location very easily. That's important if you need to relocate frequently to work, for work or for whatever other reasons. I was in the oil and gas industry before I went into the real estate field, and I had my house. Of the 12 months, I probably stayed 2 months, maybe 3 months max in my own house. The rest of the time, I was out in the Northeast, out in the Rockies. So if I rented, that would have been one of the advantages, would have been able to utilize. When you rent, you typically have lower upfront moving costs, and you typically pay the application fee, first month, security deposit, any pet fees and deposit, renter's insurance, and each landlord will be different, whether you live in a house versus an apartment, townhome, or a condo. It has more manageable upfront costs. Renters, you're not responsible for major home maintenance costs. Landlords, they're going to be responsible for the big repairs and maintenance, landscape, and while you're renting, you don't have to worry about unexpected costs. And again, all the above can be negotiated too. And the absence of responsibility for home maintenance costs can be big. Landlords, they bear the onus for significant repairs and maintenance, which alleviates you as a renter, if you're still renting, from concerns about unforeseen expenditures. Now, this relieves you of the financial burden associated with maintaining the property, providing a sense of financial predictability and security in their housing arrangements. Now, some of the cons of renting is the lack of equity. You're not building equity. You're creating equity for someone that is not you. You contribute to the landlord's mortgage without reaping the long-term benefits of property ownership. Now, this lack of equity building means that renters miss out on potential wealth accumulation that comes with home ownership. Now, the tax benefits is, you're facing the disadvantages of not receiving any tax benefits, which is reserved for homeowners. Now, you're going to miss out on deducted mortgage interest and property taxes on their tax returns. That further emphasizes the disparity in financial incentives between renting and homeownership. And also, the big one for many is limited control. Renting comes with limited control over your living conditions. Now, you're restricted in making any modifications, remodeling, without obtaining approval from the landlord. And this lack of independence, it can be frustrating for individuals seeking to personalize and truly make their space their own. And that control is a notable drawback for those who want that ability to make their rental feel like their own place. Is mortgage cheaper than renting? Is it cheaper to pay on a mortgage or rent? The answer depends on a variety of factors, including the cost of the home, the interest rate on the mortgage, and the cost of rent in the area. Yes, long term, owning a home will be cheaper than renting. Homeowners, you're building equity in your home every single year. Now, it's important to carefully consider your financial situation and goals when deciding whether to buy or rent a home. Overall, the tax implications of renting versus buying will depend on your individual circumstances, including your income, tax bracket, and the cost of housing in your area. Now, it's always a good idea to consult with a lender, a real estate agent, a financial advisor, or a tax professional before you make a decision about home ownership. The cost of home maintenance, it's going to vary widely depending on the age and condition of the home, the climate. Do you live in the Northeast, Northwest, South, etc.? Now, you don't want to go years of neglecting to do the work on a home. I've seen this happen where homeowners, they don't do any upkeep. You don't want to go years of neglecting to do work on your home. I've seen it where homeowners won't touch their home to do any upkeep or maintenance for years. They'll go 5 years, 10 years. The siding is tearing apart. The chimney is falling, breaking away from the house. Water around the foundation, change out your air filters, quarterly check up on your HVAC. You want to clean out your gutters, look for any water damage or leaks, on the roof, around the house. Now, when you buy a home, I highly recommend getting a home warranty. When you're buying a home, it is important to factor in these costs of maintenance. While homeownership can be a great investment in the long run, it's important to be prepared for the ongoing costs of maintenance and repairs. It's just like a car. You want to keep the car for a while and running in good condition and the value up, monthly maintenance, weekly maintenance, etc. The same thing applies to the house. That way, in the long run, you're going to keep your maintenance costs down by maintaining ongoing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. And if it was, please be kind and hit the subscribe button. My name is Zoran Smake. If you have any questions that I did not cover or any explanation that needs to be made, feel free to contact me. My contact information is down below in the description. Thank you very much.